there's an awful lot of bands, young bands, and they see this, the light at the end of the tunnel, the big record deal, big money, the next big thing or whatever. I think that's dangerous, because when you sign a record deal, once you put your name on it, that's when you've got the job, and that's when it becomes difficult. And the proof of that is if you see all the bands who've been signed over the last 3-4 years, how many of them have been successful. I think every one of them would tell you that how hard it's been, how hard when they got the job, how hard the job actually is. So, on one hand, there's a big expectation from young bands who are going 6 months, and suddenly every record company in England is over looking at them and offering them this, that, and the other. I think that can be dangerous. On the other hand, what that puts in as well is bands are very eager to be experimental and to try new things. And I mean, the music in this city is so diverse. It really is. There's a huge spectrum of music. I mean, even from my own point of view, from the Mother records, like the whole idea of that is to give bands a leg up, to try and help bands, and even if they sign to a major label, that at least if it's distributed through Ireland, that there be some sort of control for the band over what happens with things like record labels, or not record labels, with things like album sleeves and producers and things like that, that at least it have some base in this country. Whereas before, if you sign directly with an English label, you're their property and you toe the party line. And I think small record labels in this country, not only Mother, may be able to change that slightly and give bands from this country a little bit more control over what they do, over their own destiny. There's a real problem with managers in this country. There's a lack of them to start with, and then the ones that are working tend to have this very inflated view of their bands. And when you do go and see a band, you hear a good tape, it's very hard sometimes, because then you've got to actually deal with their manager, and a lot of the times that's very, very difficult to actually cut through the crap and get to the real heart of the matter. And a lot of the people who are involved in management in this country, their biggest driving force is the the money thing, signing a big deal and promising the bands this and the bands that, and it doesn't work like that. And that's why I say there's got to be a change in the old way of doing things. That's a very old attitude. Make the quick buck and all that. That's an old attitude that exists in this city, and I think that's got to change. There's a perception of Mother Records as some form of charity, where because you two are involved in the label, that any band that comes up can get a handout. And the reason I got involved in Mother Records is to change that. I do not want to be financially involved with Mother Records at all. I want to withdraw completely from that. I want to be involved in the policy decisions of the label, but as far as financial thing, I want to be out of that. And I want Record Services, which is the distribution thing that we're involved in, I want that to pay for Mother, so that it can become wholly independent and run by other people. And I think when it gets to that stage, then I think the policy may change.